Hello. Hopefully my mic is working. I have no idea. But yeah. Today I am deciding to do some coding because I wanted to do some coding. I'm planning on doing... Sorry, no. I'm planning on coding a Minecraft AI. Not an AI, but Minecraft bots. And so... Yeah. I have... I'm gonna open the Visual Studio folder if I can find it somewhere. I think I put it in music. What is this? Is this it? I don't remember. Hold on. I think this is it. Yeah, okay, this is it. Alright. So, while this is loading, let me just do... While that's doing its stuff, I will explain to you a little bit on how this works. Basically, we have the... by the way, this is going to get a little bit technical, so if you don't really like technical stuff, I would skip or just mute me for a minute. So, first of all, we have the Mineflayer API, which we have because we're using NPM, which is JavaScript. So I have installed some stuff from here. We have the Pathfinder. This is a Pathfinder API so that the bot can actually move around. They can do stuff, which is kind of important. Chalk is for the terminal, so when I actually run this, or the chalk will actually make it so I can have colored text, which is kind of cool. Prompt sync allows me to kind of do some, so I can get input from the, user. These are some simple variables I needed, like MC data, default move, and range goal. I was just doing this so it makes it easier on me down later on. The print a logo prints the logo, pretty simple. The print commands will kind of run through a thing, and this isn't really done yet. I'm focusing more so on like using chat to control the bots, but I can add stuff to this. I've made it so I can add stuff later. Interpret just chooses what happens when you do those, or I guess a better way to explain it would be it prints the logo and then prints the command. So it kind of like switches what page you're on almost. These are the settings for the actual bots to connect to. Username is blank, and I'll get to that later. Actually, first step I probably need to do is start Minecraft, because I kind of need Minecraft open. Oh, maybe I have to go to the Microsoft Store because it doesn't like being nice. And if you're wondering why I have CMD open, it's because I'm running a server for my friends to play on. So they are enjoying a server. Minecraft. Let's see if this starts. I may make some videos on it and like how to for Mineflayer, because I noticed not a lot of people really do enough Mineflayer tutorials. Like, nobody does, and it's kind of annoying. So now, as we're doing this, I just made it kind of simpler for me to log to the console by creating it so I can just type log and it will log the console, because just a time save since I'm making a console program. This name list is a list of, in total, 50 names, I think, if I remember correctly. And these 50 names are each different. These are the names that the bots will have when they join the server. This is the list of bots, so later on I can control what every bot does and that stuff. I'll get to the class at the end because it's the most difficult. This data here, this grabs how many, or whatever you need the data, like how many bots do you want, what's the server IP, the port, and it uses the prompt API, prompt sync, sorry. Then it throws all of that data into the makeBots function, which up here, actually I think I might just control click, yeah, it will show me. But anyway, this takes amount of bots, server address, and level port. Level port, if you haven't done Minecraft modding before. Basically, just think of it as the port of the server, and the server address being this IP, like the one you put in Minecraft servers and stuff. Anyways, this goes through a for loop that for every amount, for all of the bots in the list, so however many bots we wanted to create, it sets the username in this settings variable here to the name list of I. Now, name list of I means, more specifically, in the name list, whatever I is equal to, that's what it'll be. So I starts to 0 since I set it to 0 here. So it'll do Liam, Noah, Oliver, blah, 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 and go on until it reaches the end, which 50 is the max. And then for each of these bots, you bot list.push new MC bot with the username. Now, in MC bot, the constructor requires a username. And so, okay. If I'm to explain a constructor, basically think of it as a way to set variables from outside of the class inside here. So like I'm setting the username to the username. This dot host sets the actual host for it's a variable. So whenever you set the host, or whenever you're setting a variable in here, you gotta do this dot whatever, because this means this class dot host, and we can only access variables in this class. So the constructor allows us to access variables outside of the class if we set it. Now, initBot is basically where I'm just initiating everything. And in initBot, oh, I actually have to explain this. So this will makeBot sets the username, and then in here, for every bot, it creates a new bot with the name that was chosen, or the new name. And the host gets set to the settings of host. So in settings, there's a I don't really know how to explain this. It's not a variable. This is an array list, and basically you can type a name and then set that value. So in this case, host is localhost, and the host is also the IP address. So the IP to the server. So in this case, we're saying host to the settings of to the host of settings. It's not going to make much sense unless you know a bit about coding. This entire thing won't make much sense, but it'll be kind of cool anyway because coding is fun. So, in init events, this is where the real juicy stuff happens, where it actually does things. When it gets into the server, it tells me that it logged in, and using chalk, we can set the color to blue bright, which is what I set it to. We create the variable of the socket, and then we can say what we've done. So the server, I don't really know what to do. Oh, I think this is an inline if statement, whereas if botsocket.server exists, then botsocket.server. Else botsocket.host. This might not make sense, but this is called an inline if statements. So if botsocket.server bot exists, then botsocket.server. I don't know how to explain inline if statements very well. But anyways, it logs to the console that, and the end means like when the bot disconnects from the server, the reason gets passed to this function, the inline function, which is called a lambda. It logs to the console the username of the bot and then left for the reason. And if in here we do if the reason's quitting, then return, because we don't want to log if it's we don't necessarily want to log if it's quitting because we told it to quit. And this right here, as the comment says, makes it so the bot will try and reconnect to the server. I also named it Cobot because I don't really know. That was a name I came up with. And it's kind of random, but I don't really care. So, I guess I need to explain something else. Basically, once the bot spawns, it sets some data here. Not going to be good at explaining, by the way. If you want to actually more info, go look at the API, or the Mineflayer API. I forgot to put it in the description, but the next video or after I'm done streaming, I will put Mineflayer in the description because that's the API I'm using. So, once the bot spawns, and it only happens when it spawns, the first time it spawns, it does this. where it sets MC data to the Minecraft data of the bots version. So Minecraft data 1.18.2, because that's what the Mineflayer allows right now. Default move is basically just how the bot can move its movements. And so you have to give it the bot and the data so it can get the version and some other info about it. Then I have to load the plugin called Pathfinder. Loading this plugin can completely break your code, or if you don't load the plugin, it'll completely break your code. You have to print the plugin, or you load the plugin, because that's actually loading in the Pathfinder. If it's not loaded, it can't really do much. This range goal is actually, I'm going to separate this here to miss variables. The reason we want to set it here is because if we were to set it like up here, well then that's not really useful. And we want to do it once it spawns so that we can change it, or I don't really know. But I put it right here because it's easy to see and I can always change these variables for debugging. Now, whenever the bot spawns, I didn't really have it do much because I didn't think it needed to do much, but I'm leaving here in case I do need something to do, or something for it to do. Now, this is where the command stuff happens. I'll get to this in a second because it's the most complex part. But for now, below it is where if there's an error, and if the error code, which is basically when you get kicked from a server, or like there's an error out and it doesn't say econ refused, but Minecraft will actually change it from econ refused to you've been disconnected or timed out or something like that. So if the error code is econ refused, then it could not connect to the server. That's what that means. This will just kind of say that it's an unhandled error, because if it is an error that we expect, then we put it in the if statement, or in an if statement. If not, then we print out that it's an unhandled error. That's about it. But now for the big juicy part. This.bot.onChat. This.bot.onChat basically says, well, whenever something or somebody chats, it collects the data and sends it here. Now, for the we have these parameters, or in other words, we have these two things to work with: the username of the person who sent the message and whatever the message was. Now we're using a lambda again because inline functions are very cool, and we're saying if username is my name, CordyXC, then we'll actually want to do stuff. Now this allows us to call one bot at a time. So if the message starts with this.bot.username, basically means if the bot is Liam, then it will only work when Liam is called. Now this might confuse you because it kind of confuses me, but this will only work for the person I sent in chat. So say for example I typed Liam, hi. Now it'll go through all of the bots, because all the bots will receive this chat message and go through. But the only one that will respond is Liam, because Liam's username is Liam. And so if I do anything except Liam, it doesn't work. I also made this as Avengers and Assemble. I don't know, I was kind of bored, and so I added this kind of second command thing just to see how I would add a second thing. I also figured out these two pipes. So if you look above your enter key and hold shift, there's a button, and it'll actually add these pipes. Now in JavaScript, apparently these are an OR. These are ORs, so that's kind of cool. So what's happening here? Basically, the command is the message without the bot's username. So what happens is I set the command variable to replace. Okay, a better explanation for this is it replaces the bot's username with blank. So it replaces it with nothing. And so what this does is basically if I say Liam hi, it'll just be hi instead of anything else. So that allows me to get the command and also other arguments in the case, which I haven't coded yet. Now, right here's where we actually decide what we want to do with the command. So if the command is come, or like follow or something, we can have it do stuff. Now, if I also did this for testing, because I wanted to see how I would add multiple commands. So if the command is come or assemble, because the Avengers assemble meme, it's a Marvel meme. Don't judge. Basically, what'll happen is if one of these are met, like if one of these requirements are met, like it's either come or assemble, then it sets the target to the this .bot.players gets, well, the players in the game. It actually gets the amount of players in the, or it gets all the players' usernames and stuff in the game. And so I can say this .bot.players.username.entity. Entity basically allows me to, get the entity of the player. Like everything in Minecraft is an ed, or all mobs and things in Minecraft are entities. Entities are like skeletons, creepers, players, anything that can really move and has an AI necessarily is an entity. Okay, arrows are entities. Okay, anything that can really move around and can kind of like fall it's an entity basically. Lots of things are entities in Minecraft, like anything that's, I don't really know how to explain it. After learning about entities and knowing what entities are for a while, you can kind of tell what's an entity and not an entity. But for in this case, players, all mobs, ender dragons, armor stands, arrows, other things, all entities. But it's not really the point here. What's happening is we get the player list because the bots automatically get the list of players in the server. They get and now we're filtering through this list like we did up here for the username and the bots thing, and we're getting it. So if the player exists, get the entity. If not, really just don't do anything and kind of stop. Or basically, if it can't like get the data for the entity, then it kind of says that you do be invisible though because it can't see you. And there's a player list, and then we're grabbing the username from that list. Now, in the case that it is invisible, we want to return, which kind of exits us out of this area, and then it'll go on with the rest of the code. So now we have now this is kind of a different type of function, or this is a different type of thing where we assign multiple different variables as one. So X is player X, or Y is player Y. And these three are I don't really know how to explain this well, because I'm not really good at explaining things, but we're setting X to the player X. Or we're setting player X to X. Player Y to Y. Player Z to Z. And this is a method where we can assign multiple variables, and in this case, the target.position is 3 different variables, so JavaScript, the coding language we're using, automatically knows, oh, this is the X, this is the Y, this is the Z. So it sets it to those. And next, we have the movements. So basically, this .bot.pathfinder, because since we loaded the Pathfinder plugin, every bot now has a Pathfinder. So we access the Pathfinder and set its movements to default move, because that kind of gets it the version and gets some data it needs to actually Pathfind correctly. Next, we set the goal. So setting the goal basically, in simple terms, if you like the end of a race, the goal of the race is to get to the finish line. We're setting the finish line to the player X, the player Y, the player Z, and the range goal. The range goal is the offset. This is the X, Y, and Z. Wait, if that kind of makes sense. And up here, we actually define goal near as you want to go near the player, and so that means you need an X, Y, Z, and an offset. So that's what we gave it here. Then, this is just for debugging purposes. I might change this later, but it chats the command you gave it. That was just to make sure that I could actually see the right commands and I could see what I was doing. So next down here, we have the all command. Now, I'll show you the difference between the two in-game, but for now, all of the bots will listen to this. So if the message starts with all, then all of the bots will listen. As long as I'm the one sending the message, because we have an if statement up here. So as long as the person that sent the message is coder.exe and the message starts with all, then we create the command. This is basically a copy of the code. This is just an exact replica of the code above, but it's a bit simpler. Or it's not even simpler, it's the exact replica. Now, I think it's probably time to show you actually in Minecraft. So, first of all, you start up a single-player world, just as normal, I guess. Not really different. Oh, hello, Rare. Hello, I didn't see you. I'm trying to explain coding. Oh my, what is happening? And what is this sensitivity? Hold on. We're gonna push that down because that's disgusting. Whatever that sensitivity was. Alright. Now, whenever you're in a Minecraft world, you gotta, in order to actually open it up so things can join your world, you gotta open the LAN. Now, we want it to be survival, no cheats, start LAN world. The port is very important because the port allows us to connect to the worlds. Because in this case, localhost colon 64401 will connect to this world. So 64401, we scroll up here until we see settings, and we get 64401. Now, you'll only have to change it when you're actually doing like a server. The port won't really change. You won't even need a port. You just need the server address to join. So you only have to do this when you're in single player most of the time. Now, if we go back in here, we change the value. We have to go back to Visual Studio, and now if we run the bots, how many bots would I like to create? Let's just do 5. What's the server's IP? Now, I haven't really added functionality for this. Well, actually, I have added functionality, but it doesn't really do anything with it, so I can kind of just press enter here. I can add stuff later. And now, as you can see, it says that they connected to localhost. And if we go in the game, there's 5 bots. Apparently, like that they're suffocating in a wall. That's kind of cool. Could you stop, like, dying bots? Anyways, not important. So, whenever I reference a bot's name, so say, let's go James, the bot will go. So, the Pathfinder set the goal to, like, right there, and now it's going to the location. Pathfinder's pretty smart. Props to whoever made it. I don't know, because I did not look at the author, but props to whoever made it. Very nice. So, the bot doesn't really do much right now. You can't really move it around. It doesn't really respond to moving around. It's like it can't really be pushed, which is interesting. I don't really care if it can be pushed or not, since, you know, it don't really matter. Also, ignore my skin, because I lost my skin in a battle where my account got deleted and I had to rescue it back again. This sensitivity is very weird. Now that we have our bot, the range also seems a little bit scuffed. I don't know why. Yeah. We have the bot here. It will listen to commands, and it can also build up, but it only really builds it, but it builds up really, really terribly, like terrible, when there's multiple bots at once, and that's kind of like an annoying thing. But it doesn't really matter because most likely these won't be really spread out a lot, and also there'll be other methods for going up things. So I don't really care, because I don't really care. Now, in the case, we could reference any bot to do basically whatever command we told it to. So, if we do all come, that will tell all of the bots to go to this location, or at least in 1 block range of that location. Now, I'm actually going to check the participants. Actually, no, I'm going to go send this to people to actually join my stream, because, yeah. Oh, my friend basically is having troubles with their, computer. Apparently at, like, very 114 Celsius. Okay, anyways, I don't care. The bots are here now. They're all kind of centered around this area. And though they will sometimes do, like, a weird-looking glitchy thing where they kind of, like, do a bit of teleporty madness. But the server's fine with it. They aren't going to get banned. So nobody cares. Now, what I kind of wanted to do today is really explain how the bots work. And then next stream, I want to start adding full functionality for, like, a mine command, so that they mine and then they come back. Now, the alternative would be to use this thing called baritone, which basically, as the description says for the GitHub, Google Maps for blocking. Basically, it allows you to go anywhere or mine anything, and it's also very smart. Like, it's super duper smart because it uses a specific algorithm I forgot the name of, but it uses a very efficient pathfinding algorithm to find where it needs to go, how fast, and since it's an actually mod for Minecraft, it has full access to anything around it. And it also works on servers. It's very cool. The only issue with it is kind of I'd have to basically create another baritone but convert it to here. And in the case that I want to do that, there's a GitHub, so it's open source. So technically, you could make Mineflayer bots with baritone, which kind of would be way too overpowered. I'm not going to lie. Anyways, something we can do with baritone, or something we can do with these bots here, is we can have them mine. So basically, they act as a fake Minecraft player. Now, this stream is going to be more for explaining how they work. Next stream is going to be where they actually, like, where I make them do stuff. So, basically, these bots are fake Minecrafts, where, the people that created Mineflayer found a way to basically fake or trick Minecraft into thinking that there's actual players trying to join the game. Really, these are custom-coded Minecraft clients, okay? But they send the right packets to keep them alive, because there's this packet called Keep Alive, and if it doesn't send Keep Alive packets, it gets disconnected. If that kind of makes sense. I suggest actually kind of being smart with Minecraft stuff, so you might need a little bit of prior knowledge for just, like, how packets and things work for Minecraft, and I've kind of created my own custom client before, so I kind of know how this works, but Keep Alive client, or Keep Alive packets keep the client alive. It keeps the client going. It keeps them from doing stuff. It keeps them doing alive. And when they don't send Keep Alive packets, they get disconnected. Sorry, I just repeated the same thing like 25 times. An explanation for how these guys work is Mineflayer tricked Minecraft into thinking these are real Minecraft clients when they're fake clients. Now, they're custom coded to be able to respond to the commands using JavaScript, which is kind of handy because with JavaScript, you can also create websites, and specifically using an API called Electron, you can create websites that, or not a website, you can create applications for your computer that can actually summon and control bots, which is very cool. Now, one of my things I want to try doing eventually is I want to try adding baritone to these bots, because baritone would be very efficient for these bots. And hello, Havoc. I am doing some code explanation things. Not very good, but yeah, hello. Here, I will go and say hello to you. Never mind, because I'm not signed into YouTube. But basically, a bunch of bots, they can do stuff. They're fake Minecrafts. They can basically do whatever they want, as long as, well, they're coded to do it. They can respond to commands like this. And they say in chat, that's the command they received, Avengers Assemble, and then they split off this part as okay, that's the keyword, and that kind of, in the case, like, if I call the bot's name, Avengers Assemble, it's a joke, okay, it's a Marvel joke, like I said, it's a Marvel joke. But now that okay, I'm actually gonna stop these bots from running, because it's just putting stress on my computer for no literal reason. I'm trying to find a good way to explain how these bots work. If you really want to know, I suggest go watching somebody else's explanation, because I'm not the best at explaining how it works. I know how it works, but explaining, not the easiest. In the shortest summary I can make it, they're fake Minecrafts that trick Minecraft into allowing them to join. That can be controlled by a programming language, which is this. Now, for a future goal I have for these bots, or a bot, is I want to figure out how to make fake Minecraft clients that have baritone in them. Because baritone's pathfinding API is a lot more effective than Mineflayer's. Now, there probably would be a way to add baritone's pathfinding method to Mineflayer, like I would have to inspect the GitHub for the Pathfinder that's already there, figure out the other version, and yeah. It's not too difficult, but it's pretty difficult. If you want to learn more about how fake players and stuff works, I suggest going watching Horse Nuggets on YouTube. He does Minecraft AIs, like he created 1,000 Technoblades and 1,000 Dreams. And those are different from what I'm doing because I'm doing actually like outside external stuff. Well, that's a plugin for a Minecraft server. That only works on Minecraft servers that the plugins in. This works on any server, anything. Basically, it works. It just works because it's external. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good at explaining this, but external bots allow me to join any server using any account, cracked or not cracked. Cracked accounts are basically fake accounts. They're not real Minecraft accounts. They're fakes, which is kind of annoying to deal with if you're like a server owner, but Minecraft made the coolest feature in the server.properties when creating servers. You can just kind of set it so that, no, you cannot allow cracked players to join. Reason they did that is because cracked players can create infinite amounts of accounts unless you IP ban them. And then again, they can also use like some VPN nonsense and change their IP address, because if you hadn't noticed, in Windows, you can literally change your IP address. IP bans mean nothing. Nothing. Like, I can't believe people think IP bans are actually useful. Just change the IP address. You can do that on any network you want, Ethernet, wireless. It don't matter. You can just change your IP. IP bans are basically useless. It's kind of a funny thing. There is an SMP that my friends are playing on, and I probably should get back to that, but yeah, I'm pretty tired. My voice is not happy because I've been doing a lot of talking lately and doing a lot of coding. I stayed up to like 11 coding last night. Oh, my mouse died. That's fun. I can't move my mouse now. Hello, mouse. Okay. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the stream here. This is a very short stream. I just kind of wanted to explain how the bots work. I might create like an actual video on this if I feel like this is terrible. The stream's terrible. I might get some highlights or something. Whatever. I might create an actually decent video. If you want information about my uploads and stuff, I am not dead. I'll be uploading more often, just haven't really wanted to upload, and I haven't really known what to upload. Oh, and one more thing. In the comments, give me ideas on what to code. I mean, literally, I will accept anything when it comes to, like, bots, Minecraft. I'll even do other stuff. Like, I'm right now, as a secret project, I'm working, after realizing that Minecraft has basically... Creating Minecraft servers is not a real easy process, and if you actually look one up, it's pretty annoying and complex, and it can also be kind of... If you're not really skilled with computers, it can kind of be scary, where sometimes you just kind of want to make a server and play with your friends. I'm creating something that will automatically create servers for you, and there's a couple settings. There will also be an advanced mode, but that'll be enough for another stream/video where I start coding that. For now, I have lots of projects in store, and I still will be doing gaming videos, by the way, but I've kind of started doing normal Minecraft stuff. Let me know what you want me to do, whether that's like Minecraft coding, Minecraft playing. I could also do streams and videos of the SMP I'm playing on with my friends. Whatever, just tell me in the comments. Alright?